when you set quantum aside, I think you definitely need to look at some of the challenges that organizations will have encountered over the last 10 to 20 years for their PKI deployments. I've stated, and others have stated, that it is very easy to deploy a PKI badly. The whole next finished, where you've not put much thought into the policy, the framework that your PKI is operating to. So, definitely organizations will see issues with poorly designed or poorly deployed PKIs, where a weak algorithm or a small key size may have been used, or an inadequate enrollment policy. Along a similar vein, deployments where no hardware protection has been used for critical keys, so root CAs, issuing CAs. Best practice says that you should use some form of hardware-based security module for the generation and long-term storage of those keys. User keys and certificates that are being used for signature and non-repudiation, if they're not protected by strong PIN or password, they almost certainly should be protected by some form of hardware device. So a cryptographic smart card if you're dealing with local signatures, or if it's cloud-based signatures, having a hardware security module on your back-end services, that if you haven't done that, then for sure you could conceivably raise eyebrows over, was the individual in sole control of the key when it was being used? And as the technology landscape evolves, adopting new requirements to support evolving use cases. So that could be something along the lines of new types of certificates and new extensions, support for centralized certificate lifecycle management, not just for a given technology or a given vendor, but across a variety of vendors, promoting interoperability for any trust infrastructure that's within a given enterprise, support for interoperable protocols. If you're looking at digital signature, ensuring that you can interoperate with not just the back-end certification authorities you have out there, but the signing applications you're using in the front end. So things like cloud signature consortium start to become important there when you're looking at ensuring interoperability across the playing field. I've already mentioned, but I'll certainly mention it again, as things evolve, looking at support for new and evolving enrollment protocols. Two newest that have come or been created in the last 5 years will be EST and ACME, and really important for any PKI. And I guess when you think about threat in particular, is you're issuing keys and certificates to people, devices and things. And so your vetting and enrollment procedures need to be very robust in order to ensure that the individual who's trying to enroll for a credential meets all of the business requirements that are laid out in your security certificate policy. So any key that's introduced into the system that's underpinned by a weak enrollment process can fundamentally compromise the integrity of the credential, which would then lead to a weak signature being applied or granting somebody access to a network where they've impersonated somebody. Having a weak or a not very robust registration process I see as being another threat.